All right, so just a couple things to note here, guys. Half of our panelists in here have a very unnecessary profile picture.
If y'all would please turn off the cameras so that the audience would see.
You see here, they've decided to side with Grandpa's money.
They tried to get me involved, but I didn't want to because I like my current profile picture.
And plus,
so I didn't want to change it.
On top of that, I've already given them both presents before the show started. I'm not gonna do it again live. I'm not gonna do it live because this is supposed to be kind of like.
I feel very appreciated.
I bet you do. I bet you do. Because this is supposed to be somewhat of like a PG-13 kind of show. Within the realms of that, I'm not gonna show off the presents that I gave them both because that's a little bit unprofessional.
Let's just say it's this, but with a different finger.
Yeah.
It's this, but with a different finger.
Yeah. You guys can figure out the rest from there. Anyways, welcome to episode 41 of the NASCAR Pit Stop Show. This is the second to last show of the year.
You mean episode?
Well, show, episode, same thing.
Yeah.
Tomato.
Still, man, I mean, like, that's still crazy. Still crazy to believe. Oh my gosh, though. But we had ourselves a mind-blowing, absolute haywire, son of a mayhem weekend of
Son of a mayhem?
Yeah, son of a mayhem. It was full of mayhem. Martinsville, full of
Hey! I can't say nothing. I'm about done the same thing too. I'm about done the same thing too.
It's a good thing that was edited out. Holy jeez. Anyways,
watch it, don't actually edit it out.
Full of freaking mayhem, drama at Martinsville.
And a weird Sean. So, anyways.
Guys.
No. It was a weird Zachary Taylor.
Actually, I believe that more.
Actually, it was a weird Wyatt Walker. Anyway, getting back on track here.
That's probably Elijah. Anyways,
I mean, we're all weird in our own special ways, but hey, Speaking of weird, Martinsville reactions. What are your guys' thoughts on this past weekend?
Well, I didn't really get a chance to watch it. I mean, I had it on when I was working. I at least had truck race on when I was working.
Mm.
And from what I saw, it was like about almost every lap was cautions and cautions and cautions. Just like, I'd say that was kind of crazy. In the finish, that was pretty crazy.
Oh yeah, that honestly. We all, to be honest, okay, so let's see. We all had Zane Smith as one of our drivers eliminated.
No, that's not the only thing. We all had Noah Gragson.
Yeah, we had Gragson too. And guess what? They won. And they move on into the Final Four.
It's just like, I saw that and I'm just like, what the? Sorry about that. Anyways.
Nice.
No, that was a good intro.
No, anyways, keep going.
But we had those two out, and back in my mind, I thought I would say the Cup Series was going to be the same way, but no, it actually was kind of was normal. If you think, well, I wouldn't say normal, but it was like still a surprise winner.
Yeah. I mean, as the eliminations though, you did see coming. You did see those eliminations coming. We pretty much predicted the eliminations across the board for Cup.
And let's not mention, like, I know you'll show them later on, but the points.
Yeah.
The points. That's something, like, I want to talk. I know we'll talk about that later, but I can't wait to get that conversation. Like, how the hell?
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, you'll see the points here once we get to the prediction end of things, and I will explain why they are the way that they are when we get to that point.
Yeah.
So, when you see the points, you might be scratching your head at first, but when I explain, it'll all make sense. So, please stick around. Please, please stick around. You don't want to miss that.
Yeah, we don't want to miss Taylor turning into, what's his face? I lost the name.
Oh, wait.
Davison. Well,
Oh.
I forgot his name. Our Rick Ware guy. I forgot his first name.
Cody?
James Davison.
Oh, James Davison? Oh.
Yeah. We have Taylor turning into James Davison.
Yeah. Okay. Man. But yeah, I'd say Martinsville, by far, probably the most dramatic weekend of the year. Like, certified drama, certified craziness.
Oh, yeah.
Certified tempers.
Yes.
100%. Which we will talk about later on in the show. But before we get to those topics, let's move on to the grading portion of this whole show. Zachary Taylor, if you could give this weekend a grade from A to F, what would it be and why?
Well, most definitely. I would have to agree. We saw a lot of short track tempers happen, and I am going to give this weekend an A. A lot of good racing. Some of it turned into a demolition derby a few times, but at least what it seemed like they were trying to do anyway. But
Yeah.
this weekend is going to get an A from me. A lot of good racing, good hard short track racing at Martinsville.
All right. Sean, how about you?
I'm gonna go off different here than Mr. Taylor over here, and I'm not even gonna agree with that statement for one, because I was not expecting to be watching a demolition derby for 2 races, and to see at least a decent race in the third. The Cup race was the only decent race out of the whole weekend, while the other 2 was just multiple reds, especially during the final stage. Like, yes, you got that a little bit in the Cup Series, but not as more as Xfinity and Truck. So I'm not agreeing with the rating Taylor gave, and I'm going to give it a C+.
Whoa. Okay. Wow. Sean pulling out the salt today. Wyatt, are you going to jump on the bandwagon with Sean, or are you going to stick with Taylor here?
Well, let me explain some stuff before I give crazy amount of drama racing. Some drivers we weren't expecting to win.
Mm-hmm.
The 3 drivers, basically. We didn't expect Zane Smith to win. We didn't expect Noah Gragson to win. I don't think anybody's really expecting the non-playoff driver of Alex Bowman to win and all the drama that's happening.
Yeah.
Or the drivers like Sheldon Creed getting eliminated.
Mm-hmm.
Sheldon Creed getting eliminated. Justin Allgaier got eliminated.
Yeah.
Some crazy names we haven't expected, and all the drama and stuff in both the Cup and the Cup and Truck Series. The Xfinity didn't really have that much drama. I don't think, but just all in all, it was pretty interesting. I think I'm going to jump on Taylor's bandwagon and go with an A.
Okay. All right. I'd say that's actually pretty interesting here. I'm going to say this. From what I've seen, from what I was able to watch from the highlights that I've seen from all 3 races, which you can't get much out of them. All you mostly get out of them are restarts, and that really is it. They really need to do a better job with their highlight reels. Anyways, but from what I was able to witness, yes, Trucks and Xfinity were demo derbies. Cup was wow. Because more particularly what happened inside of 10 to go with Alex Bowman and Denny Hamlin, which, like I said, we'll get there when we get to the next section of the show. So really, to me, this comes down to do I give this race a decent grade because of the wreck fests that were the Trucks and Xfinity races and the somewhat watchable Cup race, or do I give this a really good grade because of all the drama and the excitement that we saw when it came down to the finishes? I'm going to go ahead and say there's the best of both worlds here, and I'm going to go ahead and say B+. More particularly,
Yeah, the middle ground.
More particularly, just because the racing itself, I mean, when you got some decent green flag runs in here and there, yeah, it's all right. But caution after caution after caution after caution, that's kind of what really kind of puts a huge damper on a short track race. I mean, you want a good consistent balance. Some cautions here and there, some green flag runs. I mean, you can't have too little or too much. Or too small amount, or too many cautions. You get what I'm saying? Because that really does put a damper on a short track race. All right, so when we come back, we've got some topics laid out before all of you, and we're gonna go over them. Some of them are actually pretty interesting, pretty juicy topics. So stick around, folks. We'll be right back. If only we had party lights. But anyways, welcome back to episode... Yeah, that's not good enough. That's not good enough, Wyatt.
Yeah, but it's lights!
Yeah.
But it's LED lights!
Yeah, that's not good enough.
Oh well, you got your party lights.
Yeah, but that's not good enough.
Just like Sean. Anyways.
No, just like Taylor.
Oh, here we go with the blame train. Welcome back to episode 41 of the NASCAR Pit Stop Show here. As always, I'm your host, Mr. Elijah Leonard. To my right, that is Zachary Taylor. To the bottom of me, that is Mr. Sean Ard. Bottom right, that is Mr. Wyatt Walker. So let's get down to some of the topics here. Silly season has been a huge thing this year. A huge thing. And we got more. First of which, there were rumors, that I do know of, that I can confirm. Two, really. The first being that it was rumored that Austin Hill would be going up to Xfinity in 2022 to race for, RCR, right? Turns out that was confirmed true. Myatt Snyder, it was recently announced that he would be going over to Jordan Anderson's team in the Xfinity Series next year. Honestly, I feel like that would be a good place for him. So that way he can still kind of be competitive, but at the same time be a little bit consistent at kind of all at once.
Agreed.
Basically, I'm not saying that Myatt Snyder is a terrible driver, because he is. He's a good driver. Well, sorry, I need to reword that. He's not a terrible driver. He's not a terrible driver. He's a good driver. He has shown that before. But when you're in a high pressure situation to where you're in a top competitive team, the pressure's on, dude. The pressure's on to win. it really didn't live up to those expectations, which, other than Homestead at the very beginning of the year, I mean, which is not a bad accomplishment, man. It's not bad. I mean, that was a surprise, if anything. I'd say where Snyder's going to be at next year, it's a good spot for him. It's a good place to where he can work on consistency, and at the same time, when he is in those positions, be competitive whenever he can be.
And we mentioned that team he's at. The two drivers who are going to go to that team now is confirmed. It's going to be Sheldon Creed in the 2, and Austin Hill in, we don't know the number yet, but he's going to be the second driver.
Yeah.
And also, I found out this interesting. Parker Klingerman was actually supposed to be the second driver for RCR, but the deal broke. So it allowed Austin Hill to take over.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty interesting. I think definitely Parker deserves a full-time ride. But other than that, congrats, Austin Hill. This is good for him, and I have a hunch of the number, maybe 2 different numbers. Do you guys could kind of back up too?
I'd say best bet 21.
21, yeah.
Yeah. Really,
Probably.
to be honest, like, I don't see any other number
Besides,
that RCR would use.
Unless they want to bring the 3 back.
No, I don't really think they're gonna do that, unless if it's Austin Dillon who goes down there.
Or the 30 or 33.
33, I see a little bit more of.
Yeah.
Honestly.
But
What other silly season news was there? You pointed out a little bit more.
Andy Lally will be another one of those part-time guys for the 44 for the Alpha Prime, which is the team that Tommy Joe Martin in the 44 drives.
Yes. Okay.
There's going to be a different amount of part-time drivers. I know Tommy Joe's one of them. Andy Lally's one of them. Who was the last one?
Raja Karuth's another one. I know that for sure.
I think there was 3. I think there was 3 different people, and I think Andy Lally
is another one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they merged.
Yeah, they did. Okay. Sam Mayer was also confirmed full time, but that was about a month or so ago. So
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
and
it's most likely he's going to the 1 car.
Yeah, that's a high chance. I mean, either that or whatever, but still, man. What else? What other silly season news was there? Jeez.
I think that was the only other silly season unless something else came up.
I mean, we'll figure out more when probably the off season gets started and everything.
Oh yeah,
everybody.
The off season where there's going to be a bunch of silly season come in and figure out where everyone else is going to go for next season.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it'd be interesting to kind of just start up a postseason show.
I mean,
honestly, that would be kind of nice. But I mean, we'll talk about that maybe next week. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens if we can get the puzzle pieces together. Okay, it's discussion time. Here we go. Oh boy, do we got some juicy topics for you?
Oh boy.
So hopefully these topics make your steak a whole lot juicier. So,
hope it's medium rare.
Yeah. So anyways, we had obviously the thing that I feel like is being talked about the most out of this weekend is the Denny Hamlin Alex Bowman incident that happened inside of 10 to go, where Bowman and Hamlin were fighting for the lead. Bowman, they both go into 3. Alex gets a little bit loose. He slides up a bit, gets into Hamlin. This allows Hamlin to lose control of the car. He backs it into the wall just a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. And Hamlin, at this point, is pissed. Race ends. Bowman is the winner. And Hamlin basically kind of pulls off some kind of shenanigans you'd normally see at a place like Bowman Gray. He basically, and then kind of just makes, he does the typical Bowman Gray kind of thing where he's pissed off, and then he goes to show his displeasure to Bowman. He gives him the birds, and and even in the post-race interview, calls him a hack, and then and the media blames Chase Elliott's fan base. It's just like, I don't know, man. To be honest, I feel like it was just a racing kind of deal where it's inside 10 to go. All bets are going to be off at that point because, first of all, it's a short track. I mean, and sorry to cut you off, but all bets, like I said, all bets would be off at that point. So, of course, you're going to have to race. You got to go. I mean, like, you only have a little bit of time to race on a short track. It takes 15 seconds to get around Martinsville at best.
Basically.
15 seconds. So basically 10 laps. That's 10 laps around Martinsville in 15-second lap times. That would roughly be around 2.5 minutes. 2.5 minutes to go out there with 10 to go and race hard for the win. And obviously... go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt you, but I want to mention, that would be the second time Bowman hit him. Because I think on the first time, like you mentioned, it was 20 to go, trying to get it. He actually let him go the first time.
Yeah.
And then I watched the video where Larry Mack, Jim McMurray, and one other person was talking about reviewing. They even showed and clarified that he did get loose to get under Hamlin.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's just he never did it on purpose. So I just want to point that out there just to make another insight on that discussion. It wasn't the first time he hit him that race, but he did let him go, and then the second time he got loose.
Yeah. I mean, and also another thing I was also going to add on was that when stuff like that happens at a short track, especially if it's near the end of the race, excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you. It's really difficult to keep your emotions in check, especially if you have a lot more to lose than the other guy you're racing hard for the win with. So, I mean, I don't blame Hamlin for being mad, but at the same time, he was in a very similar position 4 years ago. I mean, I understand that this was a 4-year difference, but he basically was 4 years later. Let's say this: the 4 years later, he was on the receiving end of going around the same spot that Chase Elliott was sent around in turn 3.
Don't forget about the one between him and Logano. I believe it was
2 years ago.
Yeah, in 19, it says it's short track racing.
What's funny is that now that this is the third odd year that Hamlin has had some sort of altercation with somebody. 2017, 2019, now this year.
It's like I don't know. Hamlin's good in Martinsville, but he also has a temper.
He does.
In Martin.
He does.
Yeah,
all right. Sean, Taylor, do any of you got something to add on?
Well, I'm going to say this, and I've been seeing this a lot. Some people are saying, why can't he get penalized? Because there was an incident before that under caution, somebody got turned and
oh yeah,
and somebody got parked for 5 laps, and people are like, why can't Hamlin get a points deduction or something like that? for his post-race thing. It was after the race. If you want to show your emotion, you're fine by showing it in some sort of fashion. But maybe Hamlin may have pushed it a little too far, but it was just a racing incident, so Hamlin can't get too mad on that.
Yeah.
Well, that was most definitely a very wild thing there between Bowman and Hamlin, and with Bowman getting loose there and wrecking Hamlin. But I mean, that was hard racing, no doubt, and just like they said a few years ago, boys have at it, and I think that we saw a good case of that.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Ironically, the incident that Sean brought up, where one driver was parked for 5 laps, it was your favorite driver who was the instigator in that little retaliation with the 52.
Yeah, that was Cornell and Josh Bilicki.
Right, that's 2 of your favorite drivers right there.
Man.
But dude,
well, I mean, that was kind of dangerous. How he wrecked them under the caution with all them safety drugs.
No, yeah. I mean, yes. I mean, this happened.
Yeah, but 5 laps?
What's funny is that, like, all the way back in, 2002? I mean, let's see. I think Harvick was in a very similar situation, and he got parked for rough driving. So, I mean, I'd say, I guess retaliation that Quinn Houff delivered to Josh Bilicki, on that particular caution, I guess you could say that was, I don't know if you'd say that was fair game or not, but either way, Houff was pissed off, he retaliated, and he paid the consequences for it. So it is what it is. It's just a product of short track racing just in general. But this, between Hamlin and Bowman, the race was over. Keep that in mind. The race was over. And Hamlin was, in my personal opinion, a lot of what Hamlin did on the track was completely unnecessary.
Oh, yeah.
Really, though. Because, to be honest, let's see. Because, the thing is that, I understand, like I said, I understand that Hamlin was completely pissed off and everything. But to basically just decide to stay out on the track, go chase down Bowman, and completely, stop him from celebrating his, 4th win of the season?
Yeah.
Dude, really, dude, why? Come on. I get you're mad, but holy damn.
And he calls him a hack. I don't know why he would call him a hack.
And he kept saying, oh man, he's like a top 10 guy that gets beat out by his teammates. Dude, he has twice the amount of wins that you do. He has more wins than you.
And a matter of fact, besides Larson, he has more wins than the other 2 teammates combined.
Exactly.
Other than Larson, I can get back on him, but he has currently 4 wins in the season right now, and Elliott and Byron have 3 wins combined.
And here's
3 wins combined.
Okay, so here's the difference between Hamlin and Bowman. It took Bowman up until Richmond to win. That's 9 races in. It took Denny up until the first race of the chase, race 27, to finally nab his first win of the year. It took him a while.
And I like how Rick Hendrick said it best, on when he had his comment comments on that. He's like, if he's a hack, then he would like more of him because he has more wins. He has twice the amount of wins than Rick Hendrick. Even called Denny Hamlin out on that.
Dude, yes.
Rick Hendrick called Denny out on that, and I'm just.
Dude, I mean, even Dale Jarrett chimed in on this.
Yes, Dale Jarrett chimed in.
Here, let me see if I can find the statement that he said.
He said that it was unnecessary that he did that.
Yeah, here we go. Calling another driver a hack, especially one that's won 4 races, that might be a little over the top. He's the best hack I've ever seen then.
And add on, this ain't part of this topic, but I just want to throw this out because I feel like it's kind of BS. He's talking crap about one teammate, but then I listened to like a post-race interview of Denny Hamlin saying like if anyone else besides Larson wins the championship, it's undeserving because of the season he has. So I'm like, I like how he says that, but yet he's giving praise to one teammate who's dominating, and yet he's calling another one who has more wins than both of his other teammates combined a hack.
And he in the media, he blamed another teammate's fan base.
Exactly. So just like the only person he hasn't have an issue with yet is basically Larson and Bowman.
Oh my
Not Bowman, I'm sorry, Byron.
My God.
Just like, man, just what?
Man.
Hey, we can all just agree this. Hamlin's in the wrong on so many.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
He has the right to be angry, but
he does.
That was uncalled for, though.
Yeah, exactly. Because the thing is that, I mean, Hamlin has every right to be mad about the situation. I mean, trust me, if it were the other way around, Bowman would have reacted the same way. I bet the only difference is, however, is that Bowman...
He wouldn't actually go up on the track and ruin a burnout celebration.
Exactly. Dude, man.
Yeah.
That's why I'm really hoping it's probably one of the first years that I've been wanting Denny Hamlin to get the championship the last 2 years, but I really do not want him to get it this year.
Man.
Because of what happened at Martinsville. What just happened, I really do not want him to get that win.
Dude, I mean, I would have to say, come Phoenix this weekend, he not only would have to watch his back for one driver, now he's got to watch his back for 2 now.
And their teammate.
Yeah.
And the bad thing is, even whenever Rick Hendrick, I don't think all Hendrick drivers are going to go easy on Hamlin.
They are not. No, they're not. No, they're not.
And the bad thing is there's 2 in the playoff and there's 2 not in the playoff. It's no doubt that both Byron and Bowman are going to help Elliott and Larson try to win the championship for Hendricks. And then
there's no question about it. And then you got obviously Byron and Bowman. They're probably most likely they're not gonna go easy on Hamlin.
They're not.
And then also on top of that, you got Briscoe. Remember, Briscoe and Hamlin have had a couple of altercations on track in the past. So that's another one to kind of watch out for.
Don't forget about his teammate that may not make it easy for Elliott.
Oh yeah,
Harvick.
Yep, that's another.
Even though everything's behind them, it's still gonna. I don't think Harvick's going to make it easier for Elliott to get the championship.
No, he's not.
The only two drivers who are clean of like not having any issues with anyone is Larson and Truex.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, really, if anything, if those two had any altercations with each other, they're in the chase anyway. So either way, they both have a lot to lose. So even if they could get to have some sort of altercation on track, they really can't afford it. They can't do that.
Yeah.
So, speaking of a Gibbs teammate, let's talk about the other one.
Oh boy.
Mr. Runner-up at Martinsville, Mr. Kyle Busch, Kyle Rowdy Busch, whom just not today, but recently, I think yesterday,
Yeah, yesterday.
he is required, I put this in all caps, required to complete sensitivity training before the 2022 season, because the reason is he used the R word. The R word. So, there was a similar situation with Hailie Deegan at the very beginning of the year, and she had apologized for it, and she was still able to race. Meanwhile, Rowdy, whom has a history of letting his temper get the best of him.
A bunch of times.
Yeah, especially in one interview where he called out Brad Keselowski on some move that he did on the last lap that nearly turned Kyle off of turn 4. Nearly turned him. But yet he still was able to finish.
I think that one was because he did that, but then he also spun him after the checker going into one.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot. He did spin out in turn 1. He did do that.
After the checker flag.
That was after. Yeah. But still, man, like, Kyle Busch, after all of these years of the stuff that he's done, he is now required to complete the sensitivity training. Excuse me. Before next year.
Which just never surprised me with Kyle Busch. He's always had histories of getting, like you said, getting motions best of him. The only years I can actually say are some of the worst ones recently. I'd say 2011's a big one.
Yeah, see, 2010, you could add that one to the list.
Oh, 2010.
2010 was also a huge one.
Yeah. Is it 2010 was the one he flipped off an official?
Yep.
That's 2010. That's what I'm talking about. And then the next year with him and what was that? Ron Hornaday.
And Ron Hornaday. The funny
in
thing,
2011.
The funny thing about 2011 was a good portion of that year, it was Harvick versus Kyle Busch. And then, like, as the year progressed, it was still Harvick versus Kyle Busch. But other drivers that drove for Kevin Harvick's team in the Truck Series, via Elliott Sadler, whom was not driving for the team at the time, he was with somebody else, and also Ron Hornaday, who was driving for Kevin Harvick.
And was in a spot where he was going to get the championship. I don't remember who got the championship.
I forgot another one. Joey Coulter.
Oh.
I forgot, because Childress was also involved in this too. And Childress like punched Kyle. I remember that.
Speaking of punching Kyle, how about him giving punches by Joey Logano in Las Vegas in 2017?
Yeah.
And him talking crap about Rick Ware in 19 in Vegas.
Yeah, because, dude, that incident between himself and I think it was Garrett Smithley who was driving the 52, that was not Garrett's fault. He held his line. Watch the onboard camera. He held his line. It was Kyle Busch who carried way too much speed and ultimately cost himself. And he still was pissed off about it. I don't blame him for being pissed, but holy jeez, why are you taking it out on some poor guy who was just doing the right thing?
And he still won I don't know why he's still crying. He still won the championship afterwards.
He did. Oh my gosh, dude.
Just look. What the hell?
Kyle Busch has just had a bad string of just showing off temper way too much.
Yeah.
And
recently,
people wonder why and some people wonder why they don't like Kyle Busch. Why people don't like Kyle Busch? He's had so much bad blood history. That's why he's won. Him, I'd say the top three, maybe four, because here recently, I'd say the top four most hated drivers has got to be Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, currently starting to become Denny Hamlin.
Oh no, it has been that way for a while.
Oh, it has
He's
been?
now creeping back up there.
Hamlin's been there
Oh
for a
yeah,
while.
and I would say Brad Keselowski. I think he's kind of calmed down a bit, but still.
Well,
Yeah.
don't forget Harvick.
Harvick hasn't really been, but he's starting to become.
Yeah, he's getting there. I mean,
And I think Larson did kind of. Larson is better now. Larson hasn't had another incident like that, but I mean, Larson was at one point.
at one point, yeah. I mean that we're not
But-
going to get into.
But yeah, but also if you think about it, there's not really any other drivers who are on top of the list. It's mainly just the main two is Kyle Busch and Kyle Busch and Joey Logano.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but the top five, it always consists of mostly now Hamlin and Harvick, and then Keselowski's still up there, but he's not as bad now.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Don't forget Kurt. Kurt was always had a hot temper too, but he's calmed down a whole lot.
He's
Yeah,
really
we don't-
improved quite a bit.
We don't get to see that from Kurt really.
All that much anymore.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing. It is
Would-
surprisingly a very good thing. Ever since.
Would Bubba Wallace be also an add-on to that list?
Oh, yeah. Well, Bubba has had his moments. I'd say Bubba has had his moments where, he has let his temper really get the best of him.
I meant people don't like him. Don't like.
Yeah. I mean, I could say last year. It was a big indicator of that when BLM was really on the rise. But I don't want to get political here.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go there.
Yeah, but that's why I'm just trying to think we mentioned we know the drivers who are the most hated, we know who's not really as much hated.
Yeah.
But just
I don't know, man.
honestly, I think people disagree, but I think the most respectable driver I've ever seen that I've never heard a single person hate. Not trying to be biased, but it's actually kind of true. Carl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
I have never heard a single person say they don't like Carl Edwards.
Yeah.
I've never heard that.
Yeah. I never heard anyone either.
And really, to be honest, neither have I. The only other year that would have come close to that. Close. And hear me out when I say this. Wyatt, I know you have that look of just confusion on your face.
I think I know which one you're talking about.
2010.
Is that the one where he wrecked Brad at Atlanta?
That was the first one.
Yeah.
The second time that he wrecked Brad was at Gateway. Remember
Oh,
on the last lap?
Yeah. I remember that one. I remember that
That
one.
looked intentional as all heck on the part of Carl.
Yeah. That was for the win, but even then, I can kind of see it, but still.
Yeah.
You could,
Right.
But you barely hear anyone say they don't like Carl. So I've heard the bad things. I've heard a couple people say they don't like Jimmy Johnson for some reason. I don't get that, but just
I hardly hear
but
that.
I've heard that one more than I've heard Carl Edwards.
Yeah.
Never even heard a person say they don't like Dale Jr. either.
Oh, right. But, alright. I guess that'll be very interesting. So when we come back...
Oh boy.
Oh boy. You all know what's coming next. Y'all know what's coming next, so stick around. We'll be right back. we're back, ladies and gentlemen, for episode 41 of the NASCAR Pit Stop Show. Gentlemen, one more weekend. We gotta do this one more time. No pun intended. If you get the reference, you get it. But anyways, gentlemen, it is championship weekend. We are finally upon one of the most anticipated weekends of the year. Oh boy. What do you think we're going to have to expect?
We're going to expect some hard racing, bunch of rivalries that's going to affect the championship. Hopefully, we'll see a new champion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Oh yeah.
Sean?
Just ready to get. I'm ready to see just how this will affect just the sport in general, because we're going to this track that we visited earlier this year, and by how last year went, it might get the same way this year on how this affects who's the champion.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Taylor?
Well, I mean, we could see a few rivalries happen again. I mean, who knows? But I mean, this is the last chance drivers are going to have to prove a point, I guess, to a team or driver that they got a rivalry with right now. But I mean, it's going to be fun to see who's going to win this championship for all three series.
I'd say so. And here's some statistics that I managed to run through with the final four of all three series across the board. In trucks, there is a 75% chance that we will see a first-time champion. Same thing for Xfinity, 75% chance. And for Cup, there is a 50% chance that we will see a first-time champion. Remember, Larson and Hamlin have never won a title before, so they are going to. That's going to be interesting. That's going to be very interesting indeed.
This is Larson's first time being in the championship four,
It is.
where everyone else has been there at least once.
At least once. Oh boy. All right. So, before we get on down to our predictions, now comes the time to explain the reasoning why the points are the way that they are. I did this behind everybody's backs without telling them. So, obviously, if everybody chose playoff drivers, they got 10 to 15 points across the board per category correct. Obviously, all of us in some area have managed to accomplish that. As far as eliminations, 8 points per elimination. A good portion of us have managed to accomplish that. I thought to myself, for Phoenix, what if I sweeten up the pot a little bit? So behind everybody's backs, I decided that per spot in the final four correct, 5 bonus points per driver correct to get into the final four.
Oh.
And
Okay.
to juice things up for the final four for this championship weekend, we all can get out of the way with the 1 point per category correct if you choose a non-playoff driver. If you choose a playoff driver, it is 20 points per category correct. And if you can predict the champion, 50 points.
Ooh.
That's right.
Oh.
So choose
Wow.
very wisely, because it will make or break how this prediction championship ends. So, here we go with our predictions. To give you a rundown on how we do our predictions, here's how we do them. We give you a driver who we think is going to win. Pretty simple. The driver who is the guy to stay away from is the driver that hasn't really been doing well the last couple weeks, or we're just coming up to a track where they kind of suck. Dark horse, it's the opposite. Obviously, as I said, the champion pick is obviously the driver who either wins the race or finishes ahead of everybody else in the final four. I already said the stipulations. So for one last time, here we go. Zachary Taylor, you are up first.
Oh, boy. Alrighty. Final time of making picks this year. Let's get down to business. Taking the gloves off.
Down to business.
Okay. I can sing a song now. I think Elijah may have just been doing the song I was thinking of.
To disagree on Taylor's picks.
Oh, boy. Anyway, let's take care of business here one last time. All right, driver to stay away from for the truck race. I just don't see this driver doing well enough to win the championship. I really don't. And therefore, with the type of season that this team has had, it has been mediocre, roller coaster year. Therefore, Matt Crafton is my driver to stay away from.
Okay.
My dark horse, this driver has been on a hot streak, and I think he can come close, but I just don't think he's going to quite get it, but I think he's going to come close. I'm taking Zane Smith as my dark horse.
Okay.
And now it's time for my driver to win and my champion for the trucks. I'm going to take probably the favorite, John Hunter Nemechek, as my driver to win and the champion.
All right.
What's up? Getting down to business and Xfinity. My driver that I am going to say will be my driver to stay away from. I'm going to say Noah Gragson is going to be my driver to stay away from.
Okay.
My dark horse. This driver has been really consistent this year and has had some really good runs, nearly got some wins, but I think he's also going to come up just short of the championship. But I'm going to say Daniel Hemrick is going to be my dark horse.
Okay.
Not bad.
It's not bad.
Now, here we go. Championship pick time. My driver to win and win the championship. I think with the success that this driver has had over the past couple seasons, I think it's time for this driver to finally get a championship and give Colleague Racing their first championship. I'm taking the Dinger as my champion and driver to win.
The Dinger. That's
A dinger.
pretty
A
good.
dinger.
Good.
All right, here we go. Final Cup picks of the year. Here we go. I'm going to take this driver. This driver has made it to the Final Four, and usually this team has something go wrong every single time. They speed on pit road, they have a bad pit stop towards the end, or something like that. Therefore, I'm taking Denny Hamlin as my driver to stay away from.
Damn.
And plus, throwing the Martinsville drama, I think that could possibly add to it. My dark horse. I tell you what, this driver has had a really nice season, nearly won more races than what he did. And I think he's going to come close, but just short. I'm taking the series defending champion, the Napa Chevy, Chase Elliott, as my dark horse.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, here we go with the champion. Only 2 drivers left. Let's see which one I go with. I'm gonna take Quinn House. No, I'm kidding. Okay. My driver to win.
Yes. Please pick House. Please pick House to win.
He somehow wins via pit strategy.
Mr. Editor, please help that.
Just keep it there.
Don't do that.
I had to be goofy for a second there. Okay, getting serious again here. My driver to win and the champion. This driver has just been on one big revenge tour this year, and I think it's going to continue. Kyle Larson is my driver to win, and Hendrick is going to win back-to-back champions.
All right. Kind of expected there, but still, they're good predictions. They're still very, very good. All right, Sean, it's your turn.
Everyone just grab your calculators now. Everyone,
I got mine ready.
everyone grab your calculators now.
You're
I
ready.
got my paper ready. Ready.
For the final time for myself for this year. Time for predictions. And we're going to start off with the truck series. First driver to stay away from. I'm choosing Zane Smith.
Alright.
And reason I'm going to say this, a reason why is Zane Smith, he's done well the past during the whole playoffs, but I think this track is where it might just be it for him on how well he's done. Next up, I'm already going to announce the champion here that I'm choosing, because we're going to the driver to win and champion, and I'm going John Hunter Nemechek as well.
Okay. Yeah,
So-
yeah.
Finally, the dark horse. He had a great start to the season by winning a couple of those races off the bat, but I think he's going to have one last good race that cap out the season. My dark horse is Ben Rhodes.
Good predictions. Good.
And now we're going to head to Xfinity, and Taylor, it is your method.
I got my paper and pencil ready.
Yeah, here we go. Now, hear me out here on my driver to stay away from first. It might seem like that I'm kind of not thinking straight here, but it's for a good reason. My driver to stay away from is Myatt Snipe. I'm going with the 1 point on this because I believe all 4 of the championship 4 drivers may be up at the front the whole entire time and finish in the top half of the field.
Okay, yeah, that's smart. Yeah. That's true.
My dark horse pick, this guy's had a good year with a couple of wins and won the regular season title, but I don't believe he's going to have enough to win the championship. I'm choosing AJ Allmendinger. Now, finally, it's my driver to win and champion. I have another guy who has won multiple races. He was almost the regular season champion. Lost that out because of Bristol. But remember this. He was last season's champion. I'm giving it to Austin Cindric for my driver to win and champion.
Good, nice. That's a good one.
That's $21,622, by the way.
Yeah, and I'm not paying you any. All right, Kyle picks for the last time, and last time for the year, I'm taking Wyatt's message.
Wyatt, get ready.
Here we go.
All right. First up, the dark horse. This driver I'm choosing, he did win the race and the title last year, but I don't see it happening again. I don't believe lightning can strike twice in 2 years in a row. I'm giving Chase Elliott my dark horse pick right there.
Not bad.
onto the driver to stay away from. And again, thinking it's on a strategy play here. Because I think, again, all 4 of our championship 4 contenders might be up in the top half of the field as over in Xfinity as well. So my driver to stay away from, I'm choosing Eric Almirola.
Interesting.
I believe back in the, and I think Eric Almirola's track record with Phoenix isn't that good, especially this configurative spot. So that's kind of why I went with him. But now, the driver to win and the champion, and this guy's been impressive all year. So why can't you not pick this guy? He's been really good, and I think he's got the car and the speed to win it all. My driver to win and champion is Kyle Larson.
Yep.
Okay. That's $9,105 that you'll Wyatt now.
And I'm not paying y'all anything.
You bet. It's gonna be a big check that comes in the mail.
Yeah, here's the check. It's gonna have zeros on it all around, and it's not gonna have any other amount of money.
Would you like to use cash card or check?
How about none?
Alrighty, Wyatt. One last time. Make it count.
I can actually say that these two have, I believe, listed the ones I'm going to pick.
Oh,
for
boy.
all of them. About done that. So for the truck series, I'm going to have to fully agree with all the ones Sean said. I was initially thinking this because, like, Dark Horse, Ben Rhodes, doing so well this season. This is his first Championship 4 appearance, but he's not going to make it far. He's unfortunately not going to make it that far. Stay away, Zane Smith. He didn't show up. He barely showed up doing any good. Yes, he got in the playoffs, and he just got that one win at Martinsville. Just a luck win. So I don't think he's going to do good. And John Hurley-Michek is the clear favorite. Now, you mentioned this, but these two never actually did that. So I think we're going to try and do this for the extra point.
Okay.
First off, first and last. First, Nemechek. Last, Smith. The middle is going to be interesting. But I think the order is going to be John Nemechek, Ben Rhodes.
Well, there goes Sean. There he is.
Okay, then. I don't know what happened. I have no clue what happened to Sean.
Interesting.
My Discord decided to crash itself.
Yeah. But anyways, what I was saying was the order. I think the championship 4 is going to finish in. It's going to be Nemechek, Rhodes, Crafton, and Smith for the truck series.
Yeah.
That is the order. Xfinity. Taylor said it best. Dark Horse. Hemrick. Really consistent. I think we figured at the beginning with the team, he was with Joe Gibbs, he would get here. I thought he would get here with a win, but still with points consistency. He's no stranger being in the championship 4.
This is like his third season in the championship 4. Either third or
So,
second.
I don't know. Hemrick's good in the championship 4, but he's just my dark horse. He's not going to get it. Driver stay away from Noah Gragson. Just no. He just got enough win too. I don't see no. The champion. I'm agreeing with Taylor again because he's had a really good season. Colleagues having one of their best seasons. Well, it would be really good if they topped it off with a championship. I'm agreeing with Taylor and saying AJ Allmendinger is going to win the championship, and and win the race. And the order, I think it's going to be AJ, Cindric, Hemrick, and Gregson.
Okay.
Now for the Cup Series.
The main event.
Main event. Again, straight off the bat, Hamlin is. I know I'm out of order. I'm going out of order, but just like I just can't. I just can't on this one. Hamlin to stay away.
Yeah.
I know I'm going out of order on this one, but you can't ignore the fact of all the stuff that's happening to Hamlin. I just can't. I just have to go on ahead and just put him as a stay away.
He's really,
just like yeah.
Yeah, he's really gonna have to watch his back.
And if you remember last year with all this hype on Hamlin, thought he was going to win a championship, he didn't do diddly squat.
Yeah.
And he won that race. And he won that race a couple years ago. So I think Denny Hamlin. No.
Yeah.
The dark horse. I think I'm going to give it to the defending winner. I'm going to give it to Truex as my dark horse.
Okay,
not bad.
And the champion, this is so easy. Larson. Champion and winner is Larson. Yes,
Yeah.
I feel like a couple of years he's done pretty good at Phoenix. He hasn't won, but I think he's pretty good at Phoenix. And with the team he's on, the speed he has, I think Larson going to end up winning the championship.
yes, like absolutely.
And the order is going to be iffy, but I'm going for this. I think the order for the championship for Cup Series is going to be Kyle Larson, Martin Truex Jr., Chase Elliott, and Denny Hamlin.
All right, that's actually.
And that's going to be $11,195 you and me for using my method over there, Wyatt.
Okay, I wasn't trying to, but just like you can't ignore the elephant in the room and just do that. Sean does it just for laughs. I did it just like you can't ignore the elephant in the room. You really can't.
No, you really.
So
can't.
I don't owe you nothing. I did that because like you can't ignore that.
Yeah.
Now, Mr. Host.
It's my turn. See, while you guys are going over your predictions, I was literally looking through stats from last year's truck race at Phoenix and the last two previous races from this year for Xfinity and Cup. And I think I've already decided on who I'm going to choose for my predictions here. So starting off with trucks, I'm going to say for I'm actually going to go ahead and use Mr. Backwards over here. And I'm going to say for my dark horse.
Oh.
For my dark horse, I say he'll come close. But it's going to be no cigar. I'd hate to do that to him, but I say he'll come close. It's going to be Ben Rhodes. Ben Rhodes, I feel like, is going to be the guy who will do good. But there's going to be no cigar for him. Driver to stay away from. Y'all were mentioning Zane Smith, but like at the same time, I was thinking, oh, maybe I could choose Crafton, but now I'm torn. Because let's be honest. I mean, yes, they both have been pretty consistent, but I could
not
say,
trying to interrupt you, but if you're torn between those two, it's no doubt that your champion's going to be. If you're torn between those two as being a stay away. Let's be real here. We all know that your pick's going to be Nemechek for the win. Let's just get that.
Well, let future me here put in the graphic here before I get to the other graphic. So yeah, driver to stay away from. I think I'm just gonna jump on the Zane Smith bandwagon. Really, I don't know, man. Because let's be honest, Crafton. Unless if Crafton pulls some 2019 stuff right out of his sleeve, I really don't see Zane Smith doing all that well. I mean, Crafton could be on the same boat, but really, though, experience over youth. in this situation. Driver to win and champion. Yes, Mr. Wyatt over here pointed it out. Mr. I see into the future. Yes, he's my winner and champion, John Hunter Nemechek, the clear favorite for this year. A guy who I feel like has been on a redemption streak all year this year, and it's paid off pretty well for him. Xfinity, here we go. Dark horse, Daniel Hemrick. I mean, honestly, this year has been the best season that Hemrick has ever had. I'd say since 2018, to be honest with you. Even if not better than that year. How many times has Hemrick come close to winning this year? Probably more times than 3 years ago, I'd say. But
there's some reasons he should have won.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But I'd say Hemrick will be the driver who will be my dark horse. We'll see what happens. Driver to stay away from, yeah, Noah Gragson. Out of all the Championship 4 drivers that I feel like will do the absolute worst, I'm sorry, Gragson. I mean, yeah, that win at Martinsville really was no fluke, but still, I don't know. But my champion, you see, two of you chose Allmendinger, right? One of you chose Cindric.
Again? Oh. You know what? I got me on this one.
It's pretty important this time. But let's make this a 50-50 split. Austin Cindric is my driver to win and will be a back-to-back champion. And now, here we go. The main event. The Cup Series. Here we go. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh! Juicy boy! Here we go. The dark horse. The previous winner. At Phoenix. Mr. Martin Truex Jr. Pretty easy. Pretty gosh darn easy on that one. I'd say really out of all the drivers who I could have chosen as the dark horse, between two really, he's really the best one. I mean, based on consistency and based on the amount of speed that he has at Phoenix in previous years, yeah, he's my dark horse, no doubt about it. Driver to stay away from, Hamlin. Like we were talking about all show. He's not only got to watch his back for one driver, not just two, but three. Remember Briscoe. Briscoe you could also include in that list too. He may have had 2 altercations with him, but that doesn't mean Briscoe can play a factor in this. And also you got Byron and Bowman that he also called out too. So, you know, there's no question that they're also going to play a part in Hamlin being a guy to stay away from. So, here we go with the champion.
What?
Who else to pick? Larson, man. Kyle Larson, the clear favorite as the driver to win and the champion. Listen, this is the most dominant Kyle Larson that we've ever seen. Why TikTok? This is the most dominant Kyle Larson that we've ever seen in a long time. In a long time. 9 wins this year. This, honestly, would be the comeback of Kyle Larson. Complete if he wins the championship this year. Mark my words.
So what I miss?
Well, nothing really.
So who'd you pick for the champion in the Xfinity?
Cindric.
Okay, I had a feeling you picked that because 2 of us picked Allmendinger and you went Cindric.
Yeah.
What about the other 2? I just got back.
You just got back? Well, refer to the graphic that was shown a little bit ago because you missed it.
Yeah.
You look very happy that I said that.
And also, I like I'm the only one that actually tried to go for the extra point by actually listing the order.
Well, the order? Well, actually, I'm not counting that.
You said extra 5 points for the order.
No. That was per spot in the final four correct. That got into the final four, not the order in which they finished. Nice job, man.
That's what I did. I made those 4 picks for nothing. Okay.
That's your own thing.
I thought those were points. That's why I listed them.
No, they weren't. But I thought they were interesting, though, either way. But alrighty! This is the last time I'm going to say this year. Well, there goes Sean. There goes the gobbling turkey. But anyways.
He's something, alright.
Gentlemen. Sean's going to miss out on this anyway, but still. Gentlemen. This is the last time I'm going to say this. Any final thoughts before we get this championship weekend underway?
Let's go Larson for the championship.
Mr. Zachary Taylor.
I thought of something funny there, but anyway. When you said gentleman there, I thought of the Three Stooges thing. Anyway, that's for another time, though. But, oh, man. One last time, we're going to beat and bang and push and shove for a championship. This is what these drivers have worked so hard for throughout this whole entire year. The 4 drivers that have a shot in all 4 series, they got everything to lose and everything to gain.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And with that, that will conclude episode 41 of the NASCAR Pit Stop Show. I want to thank you guys a lot for watching, and if you liked the video, be sure to give it a like. And if you haven't considered subscribing, I recommend you do so in order to keep up with some fine content coming out in the near future. And that about does it for us. On behalf of Mr. Zachary Taylor, Sean Art, who had disappeared, and also Wyatt Walker, I'm Elijah Leonard signing out. And we'll see you on the next one.